Shalom. Shalom and welcome, my brothers, my sisters, my family. If you are one who seek to do the will of the Almighty Father, who seek to worship and obey Him, He that is the Aleph, the Tav, the beginning and the end, He who manifests His word in the person of Yahusha, He who sacrificed and made atonement, He who sent His set-apart Spirit in Yahusha's name, then I consider you, if you fit this description, my brothers, my sisters, my family. Welcome to Turning Points. My name is Symmanayah. Let's get started. For every decision we make is a turning point, and it will be wise for us to come to grips with that and discern each turn. The focus of this segment is 10 commandments, laws, and statutes, the greatest commandments and other commandments. My brothers and sisters, can we agree that the Almighty Father does not change, that Yahuah changed not? I will present the scripture that reflects that He do not change. What if, my brothers and sisters, when Musha was working to lead the children of Yashar'al out of bondage, what if they said, we waiting to see the scripts? We waiting for you to write the books, Moses, before we move. What do you think occurred before Moses was even born? What about the days of Noah, the days of Abraham, the days of those that came before Moses? Did they say we waiting for Moses to write the laws, the statutes, and the 10 commandments? I think not. There was an Almighty Father who was the beginning and the end. And what came first was His living instructions through His prophets, through His Spirit. That came first, then the writings came. The movement of Yashar'al out of bondage, out of Mitzrayim or out of Egypt, came as a result of Moses' encounter with the voice of the Spirit of the Almighty Father at the mount where the 10 commandments was wrote, or should I say written, in stone. Let me read these scriptures, my brothers and sisters, in a moment. But I want to say the 10 commandments, the laws and statutes, there was much, and the word law and statutes are instructions, are directions. Many have embraced and sensationalized the word Torah and say that Torah just means the first 5 books of the scriptures. Keep in mind, the enemy have played games with putting stuff on paper and translations. Keep in mind that the enemy will say anything to try to deceive us. Let us be mindful that living instructions came by the Spirit of Yahuah. The Spirit of Yahuah first, before they were written. And the things that are written, not all is written. Not all is written. So to fall for the deceit to think that the Torah, which means instruction, or the law, is just the first 5 books of Moses or Musha, is wicked and deceitful. It is an erroneous teaching, for His laws and statutes are alive. Remember, it is stated in the scriptures that the letter kills and the Spirit makes alive. It is the Spirit of Yahuah that is alive, that makes the text alive. So let us not be walking with tunnel vision. But let me go and read these here, and I will continue. But just remember, there is more, so much more to the Almighty Father than just following the instructions of the 5 books of Moses. If that was the case, why would He give us more instructions? More instructions that comes with consequences. Do not laws come with consequences? Are not the scriptures in their entirety made whole, laws and statutes and instructions? Sure, man can introduce words like, well, this is the law and that's doctrine. This is the law and this is the Haftorah, or half Torah, and this is the Basor. You can introduce all these infectious words to try to discredit that the Almighty Father is the beginning and the end and is a living spirit, the Almighty One, and He works in us, through us, one towards another, and directly to us. Pray and watch, my brothers and sisters. This is end times, and the days of being enclosed into shallow and erroneous teachings will fade away. Malachi 3:6 reads, For I am Yahuah, I shall not change, and you, O sons of Yaakov, shall not come to an end. As we can see, the Most High does not change. He used his prophet Malachi to write and quote him as saying, I am Yahuah, I shall not change. That was Malachi 3:6. Now let us take a look at Exodus. Exodus 20th chapter. And I want to read to you, my brothers and sisters, verses 1 through 17. They read as follows. And the Almighty One spoke all these words, saying, I am Yahuah, your Almighty One, who brought you out of the land of Mitzrayim, out of the house of slavery. You have no other mighty ones against my face. You do not make for yourselves carved images or any likeness of that which is in the heavens above, or which is in the earth beneath, or which is in the waters underneath. My brothers, I'm going to pause on that. They say, don't make yourself any carved images or likenesses of the things of heaven and earth. Many people think that they can walk around with garments with Yahuwah's name on it, and jewelry with Yahuwah's name, and tattoos, and menorahs, and candlesticks embroidered on their clothes or on their jewelry or on their staffs. And they think that they've been given the authority to disregard this commandment. It said, do not have any carved image or any likeness of that which is in heaven above, or which is in the earth beneath, or which is in the waters under the earth. And they may use the thing where instructions came when they had the menorah during the days of old. But the Most High does not give us instruction to replicate menorahs. He does not give instructions for us to replicate his name and put it on clothing or jewelry or staffs. Be mindful of this. Pray, my brothers and sisters, for in times as we become unified, we will come to understand the importance of this commandment, and we will grow to know that we do not have the power to say it's okay to make carved images. We do not need props when we do videos or when we speak or in our assembly places. We do not need candlesticks or carved images with Yahuwah's name or Yahusha's name on it. Anyway, let me continue. 5th verse. I'm in the 20th chapter of Exodus. Do not bow down to them nor serve them, for I am Yahuah, your Almighty One, am a jealous all, visiting the crookedness of the fathers on the children to the 3rd and 4th generations of those who hate me, but showing kindness to thousands, to those who love me and guard my commands. My commands. His commands stretches far beyond just the 10 commandments. Notice what I'm reading is part of the 10 commandments. Verse 7, you do not bring the name of Yahuah, your Almighty One, to naught, for Yahuah does not leave the one unpunished who bring his name to naught. Verse 8, remember the Shabbat day to set it apart. 6 days you labor and shall do all your work. Notice that the Shabbat is one of the commandments, so it is important for us to understand when a day begins and when a day ends, as we find ourselves refined, and we will come into unity regarding Shabbat, my brothers and sisters. The 7th day is the Shabbat of Yahuah, your Almighty One. Do not do any work, you, nor your son, nor your daughter, nor your male servant, nor your female servant, nor your cattle, nor your stranger who is within your gates. For in 6 days Yahuah made the heavens and the earth, the sea and all that is in them, and rested the 7th day. Therefore Yahuah blessed the Shabbat day and set it apart. Respect your father and mother, so that your days are prolonged upon the soil which Yahuah your Almighty One is giving you. You do not murder, you do not commit adultery, you do not steal, you do not bear false witness against your neighbor. In verse 17, you do not covet your neighbor's house, you do not covet your neighbor's wife, nor his male servant, nor his female servant, nor his ox, nor his donkey, and whatever belongs to your neighbor. Sure, we have the 10 commandments, my brothers and sisters, but understand there are other commandments, there are other directions. This is not adding to the word. Study the scriptures in whole. How can we say that we're walking filled with the Spirit? How can we say that we're walking guided by his set-apart Spirit if we just limit his commands, his statutes, his directions, his teachings to just the 5 books of Moses or Mushah? Pray, my brothers and sisters, the days of coming away from wicked and erroneous teachings are drawing close. Let me read John chapter 15, verse 11 through 17. It reads as follows: "These words I have spoken to you, so that my joy might be in you, and that your joy might be complete. This is my command, that you love one another as I have loved you. No one has greater love than this, that one should lay down his life for his friends. You are my friends, and if you do whatever I command you. No longer do I call you servants, for a servant does not know what his master is doing, but I have called you friends, for all teachings which I have heard from my Father I have made known to you. You did not choose me, but I chose you and appointed you that you should go and bear fruit, and that your fruit should remain, so that whatever you ask the Father in my name, he might give it to you. These words I command you, so that you love one another." Sure, my brothers and sisters, he was speaking to his taught ones. That's the initial and literal quote of what was happening. But it goes beyond just the 12 taught ones that was there in his presence. It goes, that message, those instructions reaches out to us as well, my brothers and sisters. I want you to also consider Romans 8th chapter, verse 14. Romans 8 chapter, verse 14. It reads, "For as many as are led by the Spirit of the Almighty One, these are the sons of the Almighty One," led by his Spirit. Many people fail to realize the power and the nature of his living Spirit, the Spirit of the Almighty Father sent in Yahusha's name. And this is important, my brothers and sisters, that we understand we serve and we seek to worship and obey a living Almighty One who is indeed Spirit everywhere at all times. Let me move on, my brothers and sisters, to Philippians. Philippians chapter 1, 9 through 11 reads as follows: "And this I pray, that your love might extend more and more in knowledge and all discernment, for to examine the matters that differ, in order to be sincere and not stumbling into the day of Messiah, being filled with the fruit of righteousness through Yahusha Messiah, to the esteem and praise of the Almighty One." Being filled, we will grow to understand that our spirit, that we have a spirit within us, in this tabernacle, in this vessel, and that spirit has joined with Yahuwah's Spirit, the Almighty One, and we have become one in him, those who are indeed his children. And I say to you, my brothers and sisters, we will grow to understand the difference between the spirit within us, that inward man, and our brain, our mental faculties, and how they work together, but know that the brain sometimes respond based on what we see, what we hear, what we've been programmed. But deep inside with us is a spirit, my brothers and sisters. And deep inside of us, we are joined with the Spirit of Yahusha. And when we walk in obedience, that is what it means to be filled with the Spirit of Yahusha. It doesn't mean that you go get it every day. You go get his Spirit every day. No, not at all. Being filled is when we bring our brains, our minds, our bodies into subjection to walk in obedience, to function in obedience to the Almighty Father. I also want to read 1 Corinthians 3:16. 1 Corinthians 3:16 says, "Do you not know that you are a dwelling place of the Almighty One, and that the Spirit of the Almighty One dwells in you?" So I say to you again, my brothers and sisters, we have the 10 Commandments. We have his laws and statutes according to what Moses, Musha, have written. We know that the Messiah also, the Mashiach, Yahusha, mentioned that the greatest commandment was to love one another. And we know, if not before, we should know now that there are other commands that we receive, other commandments that we receive from the Most High. And those commandments is when his Spirit guides us and directs us, when it moves within us for the coming together of his people. I say again, my brothers and sisters, We have not read any examples where people saying, I'm waiting for the rest of the books for Moses to finish writing the rest of the books before I can respond. I'm waiting to see some books written. I'm waiting for the Besorah before I respond and set-apartness. No, not at all. For the Spirit came first. And it is the Spirit that moves his children, his servants, to write the text. The time is now to wake up. And if you are drawn by the Most High Father, these words will come to you as life, either as confirming what you have been believing, or to refine you and to make you, to make me, to make Yashar'al stronger, better, and alive. You have been listening to Turning Points. My name is Symmanayah. Pray on these words, my brothers and sisters. Until next time, Shalom, Shalom, Shalom.